Here are 15 words you need to know if you want to use English vocabulary for work and achieve your goals. Let's begin. So the first word that we have is advisor. Advisor. Do you know what this word means? Pause the video if you need to and think of what the definition is, what the word means, and secondly, an example sentence. So an advisor is someone whose job it is to advise others, to give them advice, to give them help and useful suggestions. So this one is a C1 word in English. The next word we have is artist. Artist. An artist is someone who paints, draws or makes sculptures. So this one is a bit easier. It's an A2 word in English. The next word we have is resign. To resign. It's a verb that means when you officially tell your employer that you're leaving your job. So you might say, I resigned from my job last week. Or you might say, I would suggest that you resign. And this word is a B2 level word. The next word we have is department. Department. This is a part of a school, organization, business, corporation that deals with a specific topic. So you could have, for example, a department for customer service in an organization. You could have a department for shipping or logistics. This is an A2 word in English. What about this word? Vacancy. Vacancy. Now, a vacancy is when you have a job, or it could even be a room in a hotel that is available. So you could say there's a vacancy going at our company. There's a vacancy in our local hospital. There's a vacancy at the hotel. You might call them and ask, do you have any vacancies? So this word is a C1 level word. Next we have income. An income is money you make by working, investing, or producing goods. So this could be you have an income from real estate, or you have an income from your job, or you have an income from your own business. You might say, my income has increased this year. My income has decreased this year. That's a good source of income if someone tells you how they're earning a lot of money. Income, and this is a B2 level word. The next word is a bit harder. This is a C1 level word, and it's counterpart. Counterpart. This is when someone or something in another organization does the same tasks as you in your organization. So you might say, I'm going to meet my counterpart at our client's organization. Maybe you work in management, or you work in some aspect of customer service, and you are going to meet someone else who works in management or customer service in your client's organization. Maybe you are someone who runs the organization, your counterpart would be the other person in your other organization who runs their organization. So a counterpart is someone who does the same tasks as you but in a different organization. And this is a C1 word. This word, holiday, is one of the easiest. It's when you have a time away from work that you do not have to work or go to school or do your usual commitments on a professional level. And so if you're going away for a long visit for pleasure, for relaxation, for rest, you are going on a holiday, and this is an A1 word. Now we have an instructor. If you are an instructor, you are someone who teaches a particular sport or activity. You could be a pottery instructor if you teach people how to make items out of clay. You could be an instructor of music if you teach people how to play music. You could be a basketball instructor if you teach people how to play basketball. An instructor is a B1 word. The next word is very difficult for non-native speakers because it's not very common. Venture, venture. Not adventure, just venture. You see this word often in finance, such as venture capitalists. Or you see it when someone says, I'm starting a new venture. So what does it mean? It means a new activity or business. So you might say, my neighbor is starting a new venture. You might ask, what kind of venture? And they could say, well, it's a gardening business. Or they might say, it's a financial investment firm. It could be both. A venture is something that has just started or is about to start, usually for the purpose of making a profit. Venture, that's a C2 word. Now, how about redundant? Redundant. Redundancy, or being made redundant, is when you lose your job because your employer tells you they no longer need you. So, for example, you might say, I have been made redundant. Or Bob is being made redundant today. You might say redundancy levels are on the rise. Redundancy, CY at the end. But this word redundant is a B2 word, and it usually means, as I said, someone has been sacked or fired, kicked out of, removed from their job. And that's a B2 word. Next up, we have salary. Salary. This is a fixed amount of money that you receive from your employer, usually every month. And you probably already know this word, especially if you're using English at your job. Salary. This is a B1 word. What about manager? Manager. This is someone who's in charge or in control of an office, shop, or business, who often has responsibility for how everything runs. They make sure that everything is done as it should be and the targets are met. So the word manager is an A2 word. Overload. Overload. This is when you give someone too much to do. So you're saying to them, can you please do 2 times the amount of work that you normally do? And you won't pay them any more. You might say, you're overloading them. You're overloading them. So the verb to overload or overloading means you are giving someone too much to do, and you often hear this in the context of people who burn out at work. They say, I am overloaded. I'm overloaded. I have too much to do. Can you please stop giving me work? Can you please find someone to help me do the jobs you've given me? I'm overloaded. This is a C2 word. And the final word we have is full-time. Full-time is when a job happens for the whole of a week. So if you do your job every day, normally 9 to 5 or 8 hours a day, you'd say you're working full-time, and the alternative is part-time. You might say, I only work a few days a week or a few hours per day. That's part-time. This is full-time when you work for the whole week without taking any breaks except lunchtime every day. And that is a B1 word. So there you go, 15 words. For this particular quiz, if you scored 15, you're probably C2 level. If you scored 13 to 14, you're probably closer to C1 level. 10 to 12 would make you closer to B2. B1, you're probably getting between 7 and 10. And A2, 4 to 7, while A1 would be just 1 plus. If you manage to get one word right in this quiz, you should be at least A1 level. If you would like help practicing your English vocabulary for work purposes, feel free to book a free consultation with me. I give one-on-one consultations. My link is in the description box below. I look forward to hearing from you. Do subscribe to this channel if this video was helpful for you, and I'll be back with more videos in the future.